Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Don Arleth, and you're watching World Talks here on TVP World. Greenland again popped up in the headlines as the primary reason that Donald Trump and his administration began to split with NATO. Now, with the Secretary General of the alliance, Mark Rutte, visiting Washington to mend ties, and both sides of the Atlantic upset at one another over the war in the Middle East, the alliance is being put to its biggest test in years. And now joining me to discuss the latest on Greenland is Pipaluk Lynge, Greenlandic MP. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on World Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, now it looks like some kind of obsession that Donald Trump has with Greenland. Why do you think it's back up in the headlines? Has he really not let go?
That's what we fear. And I think most of us in the Greenlandic Parliament have been, we have known that we wouldn't be let go as easily. That's why it has been important for us to talk about our alliances and the importance of the alliances. When our Prime Minister said that we choose Denmark, we choose NATO, and we choose Europe. And that's also because we have the same values as Europe, democracy, human rights, global climate change, and so forth. So we've always known it wouldn't be easy, and I think it won't be easy as long as he sits there.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think NATO really disturbed Trump and his Greenlandic plan? Whatever that was, and we know the time when there was a little bit of wargaming going on, and it seems like that kind of put the kibosh on the Greenland situation, at least with the Americans, at least for a while.
Well, I think the Western countries are very respectful for borders, democracies, sovereignty. So I don't think that NATO has had it wrong with the Greenlandic issue, because they know that Greenlandic people, we don't want to be anything than being Greenlandic. So I think the misunderstanding is in Trump, not in NATO.
I'm going to ask you, do you think Trump right now is using Greenland as an issue to divert from this fragile ceasefire that we see, or it may be even crumbling?
Well, I think we all in the Western countries, or maybe the rest of the world, always are thinking about what kind of importance, or why he says the way he does. Because on the other hand, he made the Board of Peace and then attacked Iran, took away the president of Venezuela and his wife. So I think we all are wondering, when he says another thing, what he's going to do on the other hand. But I think it's really important for us from Greenland to express that our wish is to be a sovereign nation. Our wish is to be independent and to be respected also by the alliances, if we're still in alliance with the United States.
Yes. Now, maybe you can remind some of our viewers, the United States has some legitimate interests in Greenland, but the United States also has very special access to build bases. It has pretty much freedom over the whole entire island. Why exactly do you think that the Trump administration is pushing to acquire Greenland?
Well, I think this administration is a very special one. It's a very different one because we've been collaborating with the United States since the Second World War, and we've provided them with many, many bases. I think they had up to 17 bases up here, and we weren't the ones closing them down. So we've always done what we could to make space for the American troops or bases. So right now we have a working group between Denmark, Greenland, and the United States to figure out how we can compromise in this situation, how we can keep our sovereignty, but also collaborate with them so they don't have to acquire us. So I'm really hoping that the working group will be coming up with some kind of compromise.
Yes. Now, do you think that autonomy or the current status of the island is enough? Are there people that would like to have full independence from Denmark and maybe have entire sovereignty? What does that picture look like?
Yeah, exactly as you said, we've always been working towards independence. But I have to be clear, no countries are fully independent. We're all always working with others. If it's trading, military bases, or some kind of trading. So I don't think we can ever stand on our own, isolated. But we have to also remember that becoming a sovereign nation or independent from Denmark also requires to have some form of alliance with some other countries, because we are very few people, but a huge island. So I think it's really important to stress that we need some form of collaboration, but the people of Greenland want bigger, something to say. We want to have our voices heard, and that this is the opportunity for us to use that voice to tell the other countries in the world that we want our own autonomy, we want independence, but we also really want to collaborate with other countries, for example, as the European countries.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, we know also that Denmark subsidizes the people of Greenland. You're very isolated, as you mentioned, this very small population. And the United States has thrown out some economic, potentially, incentives. Are there people in Greenland that are considering these financial offers to get a payout from the United States in order to vote in favor to become part of the United States?
No, I can proudly say we've been asked by different journalists if we could get paid $1 million per citizen, or 500,000, or any amount of money. Everyone said no. We know that having an autonomy and sovereign nation is much more valuable than money itself, because we know we fought for this situation. We fought for this government we have, having our own prime minister and ministers and whatnot. So we know that that can easily be taken away by getting paid off. So we know, as people of Greenlandic people, we know that our value is much more valuable than money.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think all the people of Europe understand sovereignty, respect the sovereignty of Greenland and of your people. And we thank you very much for joining us on World Talks to explain these issues very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pipaluk Lynge, Greenlandic MP, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And that concludes this edition of World Talks. Thanks for joining us, and stay with us for more here on TVP World.